Good morning, mathematicians. Today we're doing lesson 3.8, a guide for solving number stories. The goal of this lesson is to introduce a simplified approach to solving number stories and to provide practice solving number stories. So focus in, we're going to give you some hints on how to do these tough. Be a star when solving number stories. Anytime you have a number story, there are 4 steps you can go through. And it spells out star. So the S stands for summarize the problem. So that means when we read it, we're going to read it out loud and then put it in our own words. What are they looking for? So this problem says, Anthony has saved $7 toward a ticket to a theme park. Tickets are $12. How much more does he need? So if I summarize that, I would say, well, I know he has $7, he needs $12, and I need to figure out how much more does he need. So that's the S, summarize the problem. T stands for what to solve. Now we're looking just at the question. This is what we need to solve. The question says, how much more does he need? We have a chart of key words on the side of our room, and we know when it says how much more, we're going to be subtracting something. Okay, let's look back at how to be a star. We summarized, we told what we need to do to solve. The A stands for answer the problem. Okay, well let's actually solve it. We're subtracting. We know tickets cost $12 minus 7 is what he has. So our answer is $5. Now let's look back. We have summarized. We told what to do to solve. We answered the problem. And finally, we just need to review our work. Okay, well let's review. Let's see if this makes sense. He saved $7. Tickets are $12. How much more does he need? Well, 12 minus 7 equals 5. Let's try this out on some of our journal pages. So again, we're going to be being a star. Turn and tell your partner, what does it mean to be a star when you solve number stories? We are going to do a sample problem on page 66, so you can go to your math journal right now. The directions here say, pretend that you are flying from Washington, D.C. to Cairo, Egypt. You have a choice of flying by way of Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, or by way of Rome, Italy. The air distances are shown in the table. Solve each problem, record a number model for the problem using a letter for the unknown. Then write a summary number model with your answer in place of the letter. Okay. So to be a star, we know we need to solve, or we need to summarize the problem. So the problem states, what is the total distance from Washington, D.C. to Cairo by way of Amsterdam? Well, let's make sense of that. I'm going from Washington, D.C., and then I'm going to Cairo by way of Amsterdam. So that means I'm going through Amsterdam. So from Washington to Amsterdam is 3,851 miles. From Amsterdam to Cairo is 2,035. To be a star, then I need to tell how to solve the problem. I think this is asking me for the total. So I'm going to actually solve by jotting down 3,851 plus 2,035. A for star stands for actually solve. 1 plus 5 is 6. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 0 is 8. 3 plus 2 is 5. So I need to write my number model with my unknown here. So the 3,851 plus 2,035 equals an unknown, so I'll just put U for unknown. Number model with answer would be again 3,851 plus 2,035 equals the answer 5,886. To be a star, I need to review and make sure this really makes sense before I write my answer here. Well, they're asking for the total distance. When I see the word total, I should be thinking about adding. So I did add, and I know I needed to go from Washington to Cairo, so from here to here, going through Amsterdam. I added those two numbers. Sure, it looks like my answer makes sense, so I'm going to write down it's about 5,886 miles. Who can read number 2 for us? Now this one gets a little tricky. It says, how many more miles? So that means we're going to be doing some subtraction. We're going from Washington, D.C. to Rome. And we're comparing that distance to going from Washington, D.C. to Amsterdam. How many miles is it from Washington, D.C. to Rome? Right, it's that 4,497. How about from Washington, D.C. to Amsterdam? Right, 3,851. So to find the difference, we're going to subtract. At this time, fill in the number model with the unknown, solve for the answer, and reflect and make sure it makes sense. You'll be finishing this page and page 67 when you return to class. You may work with a partner. Finally, today, listen really close so you know what to do. You're going to finish page 66 and 67. On page 67, we're going to do an exit slip asking you to explain how you solve number 3. Then you do math boxes, and finally high number toss.